Hey guys, this is Momo, and I want to wish you a very happy new year. Welcome to the Bass Musician January 1st, 2021 issue, where I called up 11 of the coolest people I know in order to share some information that's going to help you kick ass moving forward in 2021. So without any further ado, here we go, y'all. Give me a valuable lesson that you've learned from 2020. What's something that you could say that you've actually learned this 2020?
There's going to be conflicts in life. Husbands and wives, they argue. Bands fight. Bands argue. It happens. So what? There's no reason to stop your band because you got in an argument with a guy. You really have to improve upon your ability to let it go. Let's move on. We're good. When I was really young, back in the 70s, there was times when you'd be a little bit of a hothead, get into it with people. So I never got into punching or smashing, or, maybe a little smashing, but no punching. And it was just really good to know that, there's going to be a point where the drummer says, that's the wrong note. I go, no, it's not the wrong note, because the chorus is it's going to be a thing. But that's okay, because these things happen. And let it go and move on. That's to me, that was an important lesson. I remember Steve Vai reminding me of our time back in Edom and Smile, and there'd be something going on or something, not necessarily controversy, but just a chaos. And I would say, let's do it the easy way. Let's do it the way it's easy for everybody, rather than making it hard for everyone. And he reminded me that sometimes that comes to mind sometimes when he's in a particular situation.
Yes, we're under a lot of pressure, and yes, this is going to shine some light on some frustration in some places, but no need to split up the band, no need to get divorced, no need. Try and work it out, because working it out always feels better in the end than not working it out.
And how many great bands had conflict, and that conflict led to amazing music. It's an interesting thing, Go down the list of the bands that had this thing going on, and now you see them live, and hey, great! And then how come there's two tour buses? Because they don't want to drive together, So it's an interesting thing to see.
What do you have planned for 2021 now? What's going on?
Well, I don't know if or when we can play, because it's up to the situation. I'd love to go back out with Sons of Apollo. Love to go out with the Winery Dogs. Would love to do a new record with each entity also. We're finishing a new Talas record, so we'll be able to do some shows with that. We went back and recorded all the songs we had way back in the mid-'80s that we never really righteously recorded. The record sounds really good, in my humble opinion. I'm really, really pleased with it. Hopefully I'll just be able to get out there and play. But if not, I'm just going to continue working, writing, recording on my own. People have contacted me, like I said, from around the world. We've done tracks for Australians and Germans and Scandinavian, the Ukraine, South America, Japan, China, all over the USA. And I also work with a guy here in Nashville. His name is John Statham. He's a great songwriter. So it's a little countrified, and I'm not a country guy. We hired a great pedal steel player. We had this amazing violinist, young lady, brilliant. Ray Luzier played drums on it, and he did kick-hat snare, some brushes once in a while, and Ray's the drummer from Korn with this huge kit, but he pulled it way back and just did this groove, finesse things. And so that record's about done also.
I like the fact that you would get involved with a country kind of thing, and you got that guy from Korn brushing it out, and you're going to be doing your thing there?
Playing a lot of whole notes in that. I kept it super simple, because that's what you got to do sometimes.
What was it like getting back with the old band, dude? It's all the original members, or?
Well, there was two versions of Talas. Initially, a three-piece version based out of Buffalo. Then those guys left me with the band, and I hired Phil Nero on vocal, Mark Miller on drums. They were both from Rochester, New York, one city over. Talas kind of became more of a Rochester band. Initially, we had a guitarist named Mitch Perry, a great player. He left early on, and then we got another guy in. But we had Mitch come back, and he played guitar on the two songs that he brought to the band when we first relaunched his Talas version 2, Crystal Clear and a song called On the Take. two really great songs. He had done those on a demo with Randy Castillo on drums and Ralph Morman, who sang Let the Music Do the Talking, I believe, with Joe Perry, sang it. So when he brought those to us, it sounded great. So we ended up making them Talas songs. And so now he's on those tracks. Summer of 85, I left and went with David Lee Roth, and they tried to continue on, but it kind of fell apart. There's 8, 10, 12, 14 songs we did live that never got recorded. So we went back and did them all. That record will come out soon, and I'm real pleased with it.
Hey, tell me, UFO is one of your earliest bands, right?
In 79, I went and worked with Michael Schenker on his record. Me and Danny Carmassi, the drummer of the Montrose, Rock Candy, Space Station No. 5 drummer. He was an amazing drummer. Michael called Danny, and they contacted me, too. We worked with him on his very first solo record, but Michael was in a bad spot and kind of fell apart, so me and Danny went home, and he ended up months later getting somebody else. Danny and I were busy. But then after that, the UFO guys told me in 83 to come. Pete Way had quit the band or left the band in some circumstance. I went in and did a European tour with them, which was quite an amazing experience. I love the band UFO. So being up there playing Doctor and Rock Bottom and all those songs.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna blow your fucking mind, okay? I've been meaning to show you this for a while, but check this shit out. Okay, check this shit out.
Is that my Vox bass?
Look at this.
Is that mine?
It might be, dude.
I think it is.
This bass is so fucking killer.
Oh, man. Now, were those the pickups that were on it?
I got this in my I was 21 or something.
What year would that have been?
Well, I'm 60 now, so...
1980 or 1990?
I think I changed these pickups to EMGs.
Here's a question. Were the original pickups white?
White or cream color, something like that, yeah.
So that's what they were.
I've always wanted to show you this.
Vox had given me that bass when I went over to England. Now, I used my P bass for the most part, but that was my backup bass. Played great.
Moving into 2021, can give us that hopeful message that everybody can bank on. You are constantly reinventing yourself, even on stuff that you don't understand, but you're using your available skill sets and available passion in order to propel that into motion.
Again, you're very kind, and I'm very grateful that just somehow a part of me. One of my favorite authors is a guy named Bill Bryson. He wrote a book called A Short History of Nearly Everything, and it was a science book about everything. It was an amazing, fascinating read, and hilarious too. The guy's so funny because his dry British humor, unbelievable. So I found his next book. I think it was In a Sunburned Country, all about Australia. You can't believe the stuff about Australia you don't know about. And he was mostly a travel writer. So he did so many books on travel writing, he decided to stay home and write a book about your home and where all this stuff came from, and how the first refrigerators and the first time they ever put a second story on a home, way back hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And I was in an airport in Santiago, Chile, about to get on a 8 or 10 hour or 12-hour flight, and they had a little English book rack in the airport, and there was Bill Bryson's book on Shakespeare. Now, I'm not into Shakespeare at all, but it was the only book that appealed to me because it was Bill Bryson. Said, okay, I bought it. I couldn't put it down because it wasn't just about, wherefore art thou, it was all about the background and everything around it and all the things about Shakespeare. And he was putting on his initial plays, which was the beginning of show business during the plague. They had to stop. They couldn't allow people to gather together in a group to watch a play. So it took a big chunk out of the performances that went on then. So there's actually a precedent to a pandemic coming around and wiping out the entertainment industry to a greater or lesser degree. Amazing. So the good news is it came back stronger and better than ever. I'm practicing my ass off. I'm learning a lot of new stuff. I'm sure you are. I know you, and I know you are. You're not sitting on your laurels by any chance. And a lot of people are. They're really digging deep. And it's a great opportunity to spend day after day after day practicing pretty much without interruption.
If you do not feed your mind the light part of the dark situation, then you are forced into the dark. And we know what that feels like, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. My grandfather came from Ireland. I think he was 3 years old with his mom and dad, and his parents died on the trip of the Spanish flu. He ended up in New York City alone as a little kid. The Roman Catholic nuns took him into the orphanage. When he was 16, they showed him how to paint houses. We went on his way. That's how our family started. He was the toughest guy. I remember one time he broke his ankle and he decided to go roller skating because if he would just do something, the ankle would probably fix itself. And it did somehow. It's crazy.
Well, now we know where you get that. You know, you're like a fucking lighthouse of energy and music that just, this comforting beam that just goes across the world. And I can't thank you enough for being so kind with me and being in my life, as well as all these people that get to hear you play and your wonderful advice. You're very comforting. Like I said, a lighthouse to the world. It almost makes me want to fucking cry, and I'm very grateful, man.
Incredibly kind of you. I do enjoy helping people, other musicians especially, but everybody. And we're all, well, have our limitations. I mean, I help as much as I can. But nevertheless, you do your best to try to hang on to the best character you can and help people out. And especially young musicians, it's tough now. So some little bass player plays me his tape and I write back, you got to be diplomatic. Sounds great. You should work with a metronome a little bit, though, or get together with a drummer, give a positive spin on it, give them a little positive push. You can really, and anybody can do it.
It comes back like a boomerang in the wildest way. While we are alive, we are in constant remix and edit mode for the flashbacks that we will have when we leave our body. Now, this sounds a bit straight up, but think about this for a second. I call it the last movie. Nobody wants to go, but I'll tell you, I'll feel a lot more comfortable going, knowing that my last movie is going to be about all the amazing things I tried to leave behind in the world, comforting people, executing the modes that come to you. Wow, it'll be easier to leave the body, and it won't be like you're in the fucking dark.
It remains to be seen. But I tend to agree with you. A dear friend of mine who was just a wonderful, wonderful person, Steve Vai, like a brother to me. He told me one thing that he started doing, and I just was so inspired by it. When you go to Starbucks, whatever, and you see the little tip jar there, don't let them see you put it in. If you see the kind of gratitude you're going for by putting it in there, it's almost for yourself. So wait till they're not looking and put it in. You're not doing it to get, hey, look what a nice guy I am. You're putting in there so they'll gain by it, but you don't. It's kind of interesting.
I can see why you consider him a great friend. You're on the same path when it comes to giving back. He's getting pretty spiritual in his talks about things that actually matter, the other stuff besides the playing, because that's what keeps you there, right?
I agree. And he does incorporate a lot of wisdom into his playing, the way he lives. I've always been very inspired by a lot of things Steve has said and done. That one in particular.
That is beautiful. I want to thank you for taking this quality time with us.
My pleasure.
2021, we're moving forward. Let's go for that light because, like you say, things will get better. And let's get ready for that crossover, right?
Make sure everything's in place. Make sure your bass is plugged in because that curtain's coming up. Well, it's always a joy to speak with you. And you were incredibly kind and generous towards me, and I appreciate that very much. I love your playing. Well, you pounded on that 12-string. You sold it. When I saw you playing, I go, man, I got to have one of those. And so thanks for the inspiration. That was very nice.
Thank you, my friend. I can't thank you enough. Ladies and gentlemen, you are here listening with the man, Billy Sheehan himself. Happy 2021.
Why fight the bass? That's what I say. Why fight? Go into a fight with Mike Tyson,
Today, I am blessed with bass player extraordinaire and lucky to say she is my friend, Rhonda Smith. How you doing, Rhonda?
I'm doing great, Momo. How are you, my dear friend?
Amazing. Happy 21. It's been quite the ride, but we are here.
Happy 21 to you too, you and yours.
What valuable lesson, right, can you say that you've learned from 2020?
Definitely that, friends and family are number one. We should all show a little bit more love if we can to everybody out there. I think those are some really, really important things. Feels like the climate changed a little bit. So trying to give a little bit more love, get a little bit more love. That I think would help everything.
What about personally when it comes to maybe, work ethic or inspiration wise, seeing that we are in a kind of what appears to be a very uninspirational time in life?
Absolutely, especially on a bass tip. This has been a very encouraging and great time to take the time for us to have the time to learn. I've definitely done that and been really lucky to be able to have pros and just everybody come out and doing master classes and things of this nature where they want to share, what they do. And it's been a great time for maybe a lot of us to take a pause, and look at things that we can improve and learn some things. And that has been really great. I've really enjoyed that and still looking for different things, whether it's about sound and frequencies or whether it's about playing, because it's all related.
Exactly. And that's the wonderful thing about time, right?
And it's all about how you use it, right, Momo? Depending on the individual. How valuable is time to you? That's a very individual question. It's very important to me right now, definitely. But it's the holidays too. So, and that's a time for family right now.
And what do you have planned going on for like 2021 now that we're here?
Definitely some new music. I'm going to have a new single coming out in the new year. Just waiting for some last participation on some soloing. Some new music, some new products coming out. I'm trying to have a new outlook like everybody else, looking for some different things to do, but hopefully getting back to live music because we can't wait. I can't wait to get back to playing. Some of the artists that I'm working with feel exactly the same way. We're just waiting for the green light,
Any potential news in the future for anything of you getting back on the road with Jeff or winding up doing any kind of virtual projects? Or is there any kind of talk of anything like that with some of the projects you're involved with?
Definitely a lot of new stuff in the works. It's a little too early for me to talk right now, but probably within a couple of weeks of time, I will be definitely announcing some different stuff, depending again on the conditions, because everything has changed a little bit quickly. So if we ease up a little bit on these restrictions, and hopefully that will happen.
I've always considered you a very wise and spiritual person that has her head screwed together, and your words and the tone of your voice have very comforting.
Aren't you sweet?
Can you give people out there a hopeful message for 2021?
Absolutely. It will get better. And with music, it will get better. Definitely a frame of mind. We need to stay positive, and hopefully everybody with family and love and great holidays. And with music, we will get through this.
And take the time to take the time.
Absolutely, Momo.
This is where you divide your time into its priorities.
Up your skills and get ready for when the green light comes back on, that you're ready to run the race, and take advantage of what's out there and be even possibly in a better position or a better understanding. Having the time to learn, it really is a blessing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with none other than my bro and the world's killer bass player, Alain Caron. How are you doing, my friend?
Very good, Momo. Thanks, man. Thanks.
What have you learned, from 2020?
Stay positive, realize what we have, then stop complaining. I realize that a lot of people are in a very worse position than I am. I've learned also that music is very important. The contact with people is very important. So I miss that very much. I miss performing in front of people.
And I also think that moving forward, that technology is coming to a point with live streaming. There's going to be a way to artistically make that happen for sure. There's no way that the music business is going to accept this without trying to find some kind of solution, right?
I did a few things alone here, playing with tracks I did one interview in Italy. I'm not crazy about it. To perform alone here in my studio, find it really cool. I find it really hard to perform with soul and then feeling. It's not easy. A lot of people are doing pretty good, though. I see a lot of my friends do solo things on the internet, and then they do very, very well.
The next time you decide to do that, if you want, you can get me on a cam, and I'll be your one-man audience, and I'll just be screaming and whistling, telling you how freaking hot you are, and you just keep playing and forget I'm there, and maybe that'll give you some extra energy.
Actually, you're one of the best out there to do your solo thing. You're killing it, man. You're really good. All your stuff is very inspiring. It's groovy and it's really good, man. It's really good.
Oh my God, coming from the master, thank you. Thank you very, very much. Tell me, what does Alain Caron got going on for 2021?
To be honest with you, the teaching is taking a lot of my time and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. Actually, I write a lot of things. I already had a lot of things written down, and I was about to release a method, and then a lick books and a slab book and all kind of stuff. But I keep working at it, and I really like it to really dig into it and then make it clear and transparent and very easy to understand. I'm starting to think about what would be the next record, what kind of music I want to play, what turns me on. And then I'm not ready for it yet.
You're not ready to figure out what turns you on yet.
I don't want to do another fusion record. It's like I did that. I want to do something different, something that really turns me on and that inspires me, and then bring something different and new.
Yeah.
With my signature on it. I want to take my time and then enjoy life. The experience I have with my students, I really like it. It happens at the right time in my life. My ego is not the priority anymore. You know, all my career, I fought for my what I had to say, and then for my sound, and then to expose my music and travel, and then to play as much as possible to show people what I could do. I'm not into that mood anymore. I know what I want to do. I keep improving, but not as much as I did, when I was younger. I will improve a little bit, but maybe I reached my limit already. I don't know, but I still enjoy being in touch with music and then talk about music and then but the performance is not what turns me on the most at this point. I like to play, but I want to take my time and then do whatever I want to do when I'll be ready.
And like I was telling you before we started talking, I've been talking with Rhonda Smith, and we keep laughing that her and I are going to call you up, and basically I'm going to send you a bunch of frickin' pedals that you're going to fuzz out on, and we're going to get online, and we just want to watch you get this thing on already. You know what I mean? And she says a big hello, Rhonda.
Oh, yeah, Rhonda, man, Rhonda Smith. She is incredible. I've known her since, she was in Montreal, and then we've been in touch since. Every time I go to LA, we always meet at DAM. It's always a blast to see her. And then she's more than great.
Montreal people. Alain's from Montreal, and so am I, and of course, so is Rhonda. So I mean, she's actually born in Halifax, but we consider her a Montrealer. Some great, insane minds that are coming from here.
What you do with your multiple strings, for your double strings, it sounds amazing, man. Yet I would never thought of doing something like that. So you're very unique with that. So you found your sound and your identity with that. It's great, man. It's great.
Wow, thank you so much. My last question is, give us a hopeful message coming from the man himself, moving forward for people out there in 2021.
As I said a little bit earlier, stay positive. Find yourself into the music. The music lovers, obviously, we're talking about music lovers. Try to touch people with the music. Music is a language. There's many things you can say with music. And then I think touching people with music is something that very, very fulfilling. Do whatever turns you on in life. First of all, find something that turns you on. Don't get into depression, because you dig yourself the hole. Try to stay positive. This is what I go outside, go play outside. I've been riding my bike all summer. That was great. Now I do something else. I go outside and play and try to stay in shape. Try not to think of this crisis as something that's terrible. It is terrible. It is terrible. But we'll get out of this at some point, for sure. You know, I believe in science. I believe in people. I talk to my friends in Italy. I talk to my friends in Spain, all over the world. We're all on the same boat. So let's go for it, and then let's stay positive, and then well, everything will be better. Looking forward to see you all soon.
Yeah, this beat sounds good, baby.
I've got live here with me eating popcorn in LA, my bro, bass player extraordinaire, Brandino. Hey, Brandino, how are you, brother?
All right, Momo. What's up, Momo? How you doing?
Not bad, not bad. It's always a pleasure to be in the same bass clef as you, my friend.
Thank you very much. I feel the same way likewise.
What can you say is the most valuable lessons, right, that you learned from 2020?
What I've learned is never say never. If you would have told everybody that a year ago, they would have told you you're full of you know what. And you never know what life is going to bring. You know, one day you might be fine, the next day you might be in the hospital. That's what I've learned.
Have you learned anything that has made you to decide, wow, I need to this is a chance for me to take a perspective and up my game here or there according to what you feel is going on with everybody that you know in the industry?
I think everybody's been having time to kind of see what they're about, where they are in their life, career and all that, and if they can make it better, or some people might want to bail. I know a lot of people looking at different work opportunities.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brandino is fucking choking on his popcorn in the
In the middle of the fucking interview. I'm going to keep this in the edit.
Brandino.
So
You were saying?
a lot of people are thinking about changing careers. And the problem is that the career that they were built into, it doesn't exist anymore. That's the problem. You figure if somebody's had a sales job, marketing, distribution, or whatever, for like, you know, for the last 20, 30 years.
Man, you think you want to drink some water?
I'm about to get some Momo.
Get some fucking water, bro.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing worse than getting like little pieces of popcorn stuck in like the back of your throat, and it makes you I know exactly what that feels like. Now Brandino is out there taking a drink, and hopefully he's going to be able to come finish his sentence now.
Okay, peoples.
He's back.
Here I am returning. Don't worry, I am going to put the popcorn away so I don't choke to death on TV. Okay? Ain't nothing like good old-fashioned spring water from the French Alps. Bonjour, comment vas-tu? Okay, here comes a bald head now.
That's good.
Best way I see stuff is marketing something from, you know, the internet point of view. Because that's what everybody else is doing.
Love, Figaro, Figaro.
I got something caught in my little throat here.
You got a piece of fucking popcorn caught in the throat.
Remind me not to do that in front of an interview again. So that's kind of what's up, Momo, from that point of view. You know, people have to think outside the box because that's the only thing that's working now.
What do you have planned, my friend, for 2021?
What's going on is I'm working on a book, solo book, or solos that I've done in my career and getting them transcribed and transposed and put into a Dorico Sibelius format. We finally have a new video, A Day in LA, our first single from the New Experience album.
Robbie Krieger and that band, right?
Robbie and Ed Roth and Franklin Vanderbilt. So that's, you know, we got some coverage on that. So that's looking good.
Super funky, really great groove. Love it.
Good. Franklin will be happy to hear that, Momo.
Hey, Frankie, you played really well on that song.
Yeah. Frankie will like that, you know.
What can you tell people to give them a personal boost inside about moving forward despite the way they might feel?
The first thing you do in the morning, you get up and you get some water. Water! Your eyes will open up. You'll feel a lot better. It's even a lot better than coffee. but you can drink it with your coffee before or after. Get some liquid in your body so your brain will start to work. Then you get in the sunshine. I do that every morning now. And I get up with my little dog, Billy, and I get out in that sun about 7:30 in the morning and sit out there in the sun. Get some direct DNA from the sun. The hell with about you're going to die, skin cancer, all that stuff. Yeah, if you do it in excess. But there ain't nothing wrong with some bright, regular sun you see up there millions of miles or billions of miles away and get some of that good vitamin D. It's good for your sun, good for your skin and all that. And before you go to bed at night, drink one of these. It's a must. You're supposed to drink before you go to bed and when you get up, to have some liquid in your body, start moving all that good stuff around. So that's what I say from a positive aspect, Momo, is the bottom line is you have to treat yourself, respect yourself, and make yourself feel good. Because if you feel so good, you're going to make other people, even if you don't see them, that sunshine coming out of your vibe of your life and the sunshine out of your physique or whatever you want to call it, bottom line, you will spread that love and that energy and go to the next person to you. You dig? That's what that's all about. Look to the light. Anything that's dark, walk away from it because it ain't going to be positive. Positive subjects, positive practicing, playing, positive words out of your mouth, positive this, that. That's going to go a long way. The other way is you're going to dig that hole for your grave. So, bottom line, be nice. It's all about being nice. Like Momo. Momo's nice. Okay, so be nice.
You. You're very nice also.
1, 2, 3, bass. Today, we are going to talk to one of my dearest friends in the world, as well as the president of MusicVox. How are you, Matt?
Momo, Happy New Year to you and to all of your listeners and fans and followers and to everyone at Bass Musician Magazine. And I just want to thank you for including me in this honor.
What valuable lesson would you say that you have learned from 2020?
I would say to expect the unexpected. Be prepared to adapt and to make constructive changes. That's a simple answer to a really big question.
It is a really big question because I think that for the first time, what we're used to as regular freedom, shall I say, has finally been put into question for the first time that I can remember in my lifetime.
Well, it's affected the music and music products and music performing industry, as well as so many other things. We're all in this together. Unfortunately, people experience loss or setbacks all the time. The thing that makes this, I think, so unusual is that we're all experiencing this simultaneously. It has bigger impact. Your plans don't really always have to end up the way you thought they were. And your plans are just plans. They're not a prescription for a final outcome. You never know what's going to happen in life.
Besides just like never expecting the unexpected, anything else?
To be prepared to adapt and change to new circumstances that you never anticipated. So you don't know what your reaction is going to be. Always, you can't be rehearsed for everything, but you have to keep in mind that something very major or something serious might cause a total redirection in my personal life, my business, my company, my musicianship, my skills. And you have to anticipate that this is a possibility. This can happen and not let it derail you.
This is what I love about you, my friend. Always ready to dig a little deeper and look at the other side because there is no such thing as one way to make anything happen without a bunch of other subcomponents that actually come together in order to make that thing happen, right?
I think I've learned a lot of that from you, and you're quite the expert on that all around.
What do you have planned for 2021?
2020 gave us a lot of time to reflect and to plan and to communicate all over the world. So we have a new array of 8 and 12 string custom limited numbered basses that are coming out. We're showing them online at the beginning of the new year, and we expect to ship them, in the coming weeks. We jumped into the 12 string bass design and manufacturing realm back in 1999. 21 years later, I never would have imagined the growing desire to play and own an instrument like this, to record with it, to innovate on a 12-string bass. It was sort of just an unusual thing that I decided to do.
Mm-hmm.
Players around the world are embracing 12-string basses like I never would have expected. They all approach it differently. And we did this from the start. We kept offering more and more unexpected and unique designs that people were requesting. I think a desirable bass performance. So 12-string bass, which is our relaunch for 2021, has become a significant part of the identity of this company. It's one of our signature specialties now. And that was totally unexpected.
That's amazing, because for all you folks out there who are not familiar with, like, the multiple string instruments, Matt was there like at the very beginning. So, I mean, there was Alan Woody who used to play it. We even have Billy Sheehan who came on board and picked up an instrument and is really digging it. I really think that when you have a whole bunch of instruments, the multiple string bass is there in order to open up all these amazing other doors of creativity and fill in that sonic space that a regular bass just can't fill. They look beautiful, they sound beautiful, they feel beautiful. And what more can you ask for when you're trying to create some amazing original music, right?
We had already been making them in 1999. And Alan Woody, he had, I think, other 12 strings. He had an 18-string bass from a custom manufacturer.
Oh, wow.
He was playing some of our instruments, and he picked up the 12-string bass, Space Cadet. He started to play it. He was picking it. He was playing it like a classical guitar. When I saw him do that, I saw the beautiful tones that were coming out of that instrument. I realized that there was a lot more embedded there than I ever thought.
You are the only company in the world that like virtually has multiple models. You've got the whole aesthetic color combination thing going with 3 separate, totally different models available in 8 and 12 string basses, which is really unheard of coming from one company.
It's not a common instrument, but it's become an important, very important instrument for us. And I love them, and the players love them.
Lord knows that you have saved my bass musical ass along the way. I would never have continued on my musical journey, expanding and moving forward in ways that are just so much more than music, getting to involve art at every level. And you being so gracious with me, I want to truly thank you for the opportunity and the friendship that we've developed along the way.
I don't want to sound trite, Momo, but the thanks go in the other direction.
Okay.
You have done an awful lot to expand people's understanding, use, and possibilities of an 8-string and a 12-string, multiple string instruments. You're a free spirit. You don't try to fit into a mold. And that is really the essence of a 12-string bass. It's a new instrument as far as instruments are concerned. It's less than 50 years old, and there are no rules. You have given people license to take it and use it for all sorts of things. I've never seen this kind of excitement. And I think you're largely responsible for that.
Thank you, Matt. Give us a hopeful message for 2021 out there.
I think it's a hopeful message, not only for 2021, but for all times, that if situations pose difficulties and challenges, try not to focus on the roadblocks, your losses or failed plans. Focus on what methods, abilities, or assets that you have at hand that you can recruit now and move forward with, and not what was lost or blocked. Don't ruminate over something you can't change. It doesn't help anything. That will paralyze you. Take inventory. What do I have? What can I do with it? And then make a rational plan and go.
Here we are with Scott Feetsum. How are you doing, my friend?
Good morning, Momo. How are you? I'm great.
What valuable lesson, right, have you learned from going through 2020?
I guess just follow your own path. I mean, if you listen and subscribe to everything that the gloom and doom that everybody's prescribing, you're going to be just doing nothing. And actually, I didn't pay attention to a lot of that. Being isolated at home kind of helped me get away from all of that. But again, I mean, even like you and I mean, we said, well, this is an opportunity for us to we have time now to do some things we have never done before. Let's take advantage of that moment. And so that's what we did. I don't know, you just go with the flow and just look at things from your own point of view, not from what is being rained down on you by the media.
There's been a lot of that. This has affected a lot of people's state of mind. You can look at things as a deterrent, or you can look at things as an opportunity. And I think that's what you're talking about right now, right?
At the risk of sounding a little gruff, but I look at it and say, I've got my own plan and that doesn't apply to me.
Exactly. That's what I like about you, my friend. You are a warrior of your own design. How do you find that, like, people around you and whatnot have been handling all this?
Some people are totally debilitated by it. They won't leave their homes. They're scared, genuinely scared, and I understand that they are.
I think this is an opportunity, especially when we have no choice. There's only one way to look at it. You pull in the feel good or you pull in the feel bad. What's going on for 2021?
I can't tell you all the secrets. Well, let's just say we're improving a whole set of products. I can't go any further than there's going to be a whole line of products that we're going to announce for NAMM. Then there's another unit that we're going to build, another effect unit that we've never built before. And then, so that's the Morley side, right? But dude, I got some other stuff that nobody's expecting that's coming down the pipe. And I'll just tell you this, I'll give you a hint. The name of the company is Morley Product Group. So there's more than just watt and volume pedals that could be part of our product offering. That's already moving and flowing right now. So more to come on that.
Oh, yes. And we know Morley's been around for over 50 years, and you are at the helm of this right now. And I am convinced that Morley's offerings moving forward is going to be nothing short of built like a tank to just, take you to your next level of creativity, which has always done for me. I'm a huge Morley fan of all your products, as well as a fan of you, my friend.
Thank you.
Give me a hopeful message for people out there in 2021 moving forward.
Things are always getting better, as much as we don't think so. If you turn the clock back 1,000 years, listen, we got heat, we got air conditioning, we've got cars. In general, the positive always outweighs the negative, and that's always coming our way forward. Vaccines coming out, that's going to help a lot. At least the perception for a lot of people on the lockdown is once they get their shot and their booster, they're going to feel now they're protected. And really, it's one of the things I subscribe to, and this, one of the things that I live by, which is you get what you expect, whether you like it or not. So if you're now, a shot makes you feel like you're protected from the environment, that's going to open up so much to you personally, let alone the physicality of it, of where restaurants and things are going to open. So I say 2021 looks really good. Everything's always getting better. You got to look for that. If you're looking for the bad side, that's what you're going to see. We got to look for the good that's coming. I see nothing but good happening in 2021, honestly.
So true, my friend.
I mean, even in 2020, all the online guys, they did record numbers, right? Your brick and mortar people suffered. I know online guys, companies and owners that felt a little bad because they had such a good year because they knew their buddy who owned 17 stores wasn't having a good year. It's all ebbs and flows. And so if you look for the good side, there's always a good side there. Same thing with the stock market. People make money on the way up and people make money on the way down. Just depends on where your head's at.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sheldon Dingwall. How you doing, Sheldon?
So good to get a fresh start in 2021.
What valuable lessons have you learned from 2021?
Oh boy, how important personal values are. This is probably the least sexy topic you could possibly have a conversation on. But oh my God, are personal values ever important in how we interact as people? If you have people in your life that don't share the same values, then there's always friction and tension between you that extends to just trying to understand each other. So for instance, if I'm going to convey an idea to you, you're going to build a mental picture inside your head as I'm speaking. And so there's going to be a lot of content that's implied that isn't actually spoken. And the closer our values are, the closer your mental picture is going to be to my mental picture. And if we have the same mental picture, well, then we're doing great. But if a person's values are out of sync or completely different than yours, it's just such a struggle to communicate your mental picture and have them understand where you're coming from and then communicate back to you. And that's something that really became apparent this year. Probably because of the extra stress of COVID. It's put everybody under stress. And when that happens, you tend to default to your lowest common denominator as what you find functional as a human. So in other words, I like to design guitars. And so when I get stressed out, I'll do that and I feel better. Other people, when they get stressed out, they'll eat ice cream and that makes them feel better. So there's always something that you default to. 2020 has really sort of uncovered people's compatibility. And I've heard that there are a lot of divorces because of it.
Being aware of the value system that we all have possibly even forgot to optimize in the past or have taken for granted. The value system is like a kind of a great like bass neck, right? Every now and then you're going to have to adjust that tension rod to deal with the weather situations or a different gauge of string situation. Things need to be adjusted accordingly. And the value system thing, like you say here, I think this is the principle that all dreams, all businesses, all relationships are based on to start with. This will dictate longevity. Find a way to extract what we consider to be the best of the situation, or there will be no growth.
100%. Yeah, growth is important. If you're not growing, you're shrinking and withering.
What do we have planned here with Sheldon Dingwall and the Dingwall Company for 2021? Drop me some stuff, man. What's going on?
In 2 years, we've tripled the size of our facility. We are continuing to improve every single day on our custom bases. And our goal is to if not double our production on custom bases, at least get our 2-year back order list down to, a year-ish. And that's been a goal for a long time. The Hellboy and the D-Rock 5-string standard will be dropping soon. Those things they're so cool. And I can't wait for people to get a chance to make music with them. We've got 3 more designs on the drawing board, plus some hardware, some new pickups. It's hard to say right now when we'll actually be able to announce those officially, but they are in the drawing boards and we'll be prototyping soon. We'll have physical samples ready probably within the next 6 months.
Give me a hopeful message for 2021 moving forward.
I've lived through the housing crisis. I've lived through the tech bubble when it exploded. And I've lost my entire shop to a fire. We'll get through this. I call it shotgun theory. And that is when you shoot a shotgun at a target, the pellets don't evenly disperse. There's clusters of pellets that hit one area, and then there's negative space where nothing hit it. 2020 was a cluster of crap that was just all building up to go wrong. And it finally went wrong, but we're going to get through it. Then we're going to have, a clear space for a while, and we'll be able to get back to business and get back to creating and living our lives with hope instead of living them with this shroud of fear. That's what's on the way. It's coming.
Right on, brother. And I believe what you're trying to say is the word we've been cluster fucked.
It's not my show. It's okay for you to say it. It's just I didn't feel it was my place. Yes. But that's exactly what I meant.
I'm here with none other than bass player extraordinaire Phil Rem. How you doing, brother?
Hey, Momo. Yeah, I'm doing well. It's so nice to see you.
What valuable lessons have you learned, right, from 2020?
First thing is that always when you think something would not go further, or you maybe some changes in the world or life happen, like probably for everyone, although you might go through some very thrilling and sometimes scary shit.
Yeah.
But that you will always find your way further when you really relate to your core. And then talking about music, really relate deeply to why you started all this, to your mission, and getting even more deeper and more pure. And then you will find a way through and make new things possible, attract new stuff, give stuff, also in a changing environment.
Usually when somebody would say, what have you learned this year? It's usually about, I learned some new tricks, I learned some new stuff, and you go on to your next year. But this has been different. I would imagine that you're the kind of guy that took advantage of this situation, but probably buried yourself in even deeper than you normally would in some other stuff, right?
I'm finishing my book finally, which I'm actually working on a longer time. working on a new album as well. I have time to do some more production work at home.
Moving into 2021, what has Phil Ram got going on here?
Phil Ram is going to finally publish a book and a whole lot of lesson material around this book and the subject. And that book has to do actually directly, or is directly connected to my album that we in the last interview spoke about. I'm really excited to bring it out. It's a fantastic subject about building rhythms and groove design. Then you can play music on a very new, deep, and creative level.
Give us a hopeful message for people out there in 2021. Let's go. Give me some stuff.
Now, I think we probably all as a society, or even as a worldwide society, still have to grow. I don't think we're there yet to get really through this as a society, as a group of people that live together on this planet. I think we still have to make a step.
There is something deep inside that lights the fire inside Phil Ram.
Curiosity of discovering new stuff. When someone comes with me with something new that I don't know yet, I'm a guy like, oh, nice, let me try it. It's my basic mindset in the morning, open my eyes. And when I see something, hear something, taste something, read something that I did not know yet or never heard of, when I see a chance to grow anywhere, it just excites me. And I naturally just do that. I'm just that kind of person. And the other thing is, you asked about this, I believe in God. And that definitely is inside of me stronger than ever. The solid platform where I can stand on and where you can go through when the waves are really high, the stakes are high, left and right of you, fire's burning, but that keeps my feet solid on the ground.
You are saying all the right stuff, my friend. Self-education, spirituality, clearing your mind so that you can feel the possibilities and feel again. When you've let too much negativity kind of overtake your mind, you forget about your true possibilities. And I always like to say, feeling good feels better than feeling like shit. So if you have the choice, then I choose let's feel good, because that feels better than feeling like shit. And that's going to mean you need to do stuff. Surrounding yourself with people and energy that makes you feel bright and light. And that just, who wouldn't want that in any situation, right?
I maybe have a wish that every musician, every artist, actually everyone, but talking as a musician, everyone who makes music with a pure heart, with good deeds, with good intentions, and who really does music with devotion and really wants to give something with his music to people, I really wish that they keep going. No matter how hard it is, if it's possible to make a living right now or not, well, how hard this journey might be, but I wish that those people, those musicians, keep going, work further on the music, create and believe that they will be able to live as a musician and give something to the people, and keep going what they do, that they don't stop.
Paul Belgrado, a Belgian Luther, makes absolutely beautiful stuff. How you doing, Paul?
Okay. How are you?
Rocking and rolling here.
I'm in my laboratory here in my machine room, so I've got a bit of necks behind my neck. Still have a lot of work on them. There will be some more nanos in the near future.
You have a very particular, nice, hard-working, efficient, out-of-the-box thinking kind of a guy that I've really connected with. And I really wanted you to be part of this so, we can share some of your words and your thoughts and what's going on. So what valuable lessons, right, have you learned from 2020?
Well, you sort of go back to your youth roots where you appreciate the stuff you're doing a bit more. It's because you sort of re-evaluate. In the beginning of the confinement, which we had here in Belgium, I got a lot of ideas because all the stores were closed. You couldn't get any screws or whatever. So I looked around what I had lying around in my workshop and started designing like little helpers to jigs and stuff. I got a boost of ideas. A lot of people had it, I think. I'm lucky I have a workshop and I can do my stuff. I think there's going to be another era after this where maybe people are going to appreciate more other things, and instead of always continuing the same thing. I sort of organized my technical work here, life a bit better. I'm changing things. My back hurts a bit because I move things around. So I think that's the positive side of it. Maybe a lot of people did it because they were stuck home.
Well, that's cool. It kind of forces you to think outside the box with what you've got. Take your brain, that powerful brain of yours, and you say, what do I got over here to make myself even more efficient?
For me, it's all, in the direction of making these instruments like a little bit easier and more controlled, but still with a human factor in it. So it's more like a technical choreography you're doing.
What do you got going on for 2021? What's the vision here?
What am I going to do? Probably build basses. Finishing these things, it's mainly basses, but as a repair modifier, I worked more on guitars because guitar public is bigger. A lot of people see me as a bass builder.
Yeah.
Which is true because I've built more basses, and bass players are usually more open to something different. It's always an opening to new basses from when I started in end of the 80s and when I played bass, there was a vibe of new basses, carbon graphite stuff, and it was a very interesting thing. Before I did lutherie, I played a Steinberger bass, which was like a toothpick in my hands. Because it was really, and I worked on them as a luthier when I started.
Oh my God, a Steinberger in your hands has got to look like a toothpick. You're right. And that, I was telling Danielle Romeo in the interview that we did for Bass Musician Magazine, how the advantage of your hand sanding for the neck has just got to be killer with that giant hand of yours. I don't think that you can get a better feel on than hand sanding. It's like, give us a hopeful message, okay, for 2021 moving forward. Come on.
I always say it's hard to get lost if you don't know where you're going. Yeah, you try to go somewhere, but you don't have to pinpoint it exactly.
I really like what you're saying. I like to say, you know what? I have no idea what this is going to turn out like, but I know it's going to be awesome by the time it's finished or by the time we get there, right?
That's a bit Star Trek, huh? To go where nobody's.
So you're basically saying follow your inner dreams and don't get so precise on your expectations that there's no room for modification. I don't know where it's going to go, but it's going to be great.
In the end, it's got to meet the standards that I'm happy with.
I like what you said about not knowing what it's going to be, but it has to have a standard at the end. And that's the mojo stamp.
I don't consider myself as a magician. It's like a process, and it's like you editing or whatever, or your photos. It's like you get this little package and you make kind of a thing. And in the end, it becomes kind of a product that's been used for creativity. And that's the nice thing. And then it lives on.
Sitting here with bass player, kick-ass bass player, Brandon Michael. How you doing, my friend? Thank you for being here with me today on this new year. Happy New Year, my bro.
Happy New Year, man. Thank you for having me. I am super excited to be here. So thanks.
I'm going to say it right now. It's the first time I meet you, and I can tell that when I meet somebody, when I feel a kind of a sunshine, kind of a happy vibe, so easy to digest, like if you're not eating, and I like that.
I'm definitely eating, that's for sure. Thanks, man. Likewise. I just feel that life's too short to be an asshole. It's nice to be fun and be happy and appreciate the good stuff. And I'm just glad to be here. You could have asked anybody, but you asked me, and I'm stoked.
And talking about the asshole, I mean, this is why the assholes are usually covered up with pants and stuff, right?
Right.
They're not exposed in general in the public and stuff. It's all about keeping that assholism tucked away. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, like I said, life's too short, and egos and all that stuff. I mean, when you die, you can't take it with you anyway. So you might as well just enjoy yourself while you're here.
What is like a valuable lesson, okay, that you learned in 2020? Because things have changed. So let me hear your thoughts on that.
So the way that I see it is that especially in the music industry, obviously everything has changed for a lot of people. Losing jobs, losing businesses, things closing, and not to get political, obviously, but it's been a big adjustment for everyone. In a way, this experience has kind of taught people to be more resourceful and to, maybe view time a little differently. It's really easy, especially where I live here in California, where everything is really expensive and kind of hard to live if you don't really make a decent wage. It's really easy to get caught up in that pace. So I think that being able to step back and look at things, from more of an objective point of view, as opposed to like, oh, I gotta make quotas, I gotta hit my job, I gotta do this and that, to like step back and really just say, hey, this is kind of a hard thing that we're dealing with, but we're all in it together. It's taught me to appreciate the people that I have, just not taking things for granted. Learn being appreciative of what we've had in the music industry, what we've had in our careers, what we've had in our friends and our family, and just be appreciative. For me, big time.
Exactly. And I got to tell you, there's something that music and life have in common. Time, right? The times are very different. And also people, even before this, they were always saying, oh, fuck, I have no time to really catch up on this or these things I wish I was doing. I got no time. And now we have a lot more time than we could have ever expected.
Right.
And it's about recognizing the potential of that moment as opposed to looking at the disaster of that moment.
I think it kind of like you kind of learn, through your friends. Because I have a couple of friends that I didn't really view as pessimistic per se, but like, it's all how you receive the information. And a lot of people took the panic approach, or getting upset or freaked out. And I'm sure rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
About musicians is that we've always been resourceful. I know like touring has taught me to, you're taking baths in like a sink in some 7-Eleven grocery, gas station somewhere. I don't want to say I'm used to this, because obviously I'm not, but like, getting time to stay at home. And I think you brought up a really good point about saying, time, like, oh, I don't have time for this. It's become so second nature for people not to have time for things. So to finally have that time and to spend with your friends and your family, close family, and, to like pick up a hobby or get, for me, it's been getting back to these projects, these musical projects that I've kind of had to sideline because of other projects and, work life, personal life stuff. And I hope that everybody's kind of taking their time very, very seriously and very wisely to do something new, go to school, learn a new trade, learn how to play a song.
Yeah, because, timing and time has always fascinated me, right? Because like in music, you can put it into different subdivisions and stuff, but this applies to your actual life, real time.
Like time is like the actual currency. I mean, we focus on money a lot because obviously we're, a money-driven society and, whatnot. But time is the real currency because you don't really get time back. You can make money at any given spot.
What do you have planned for 2021? Give us, folks. Tell us about what's going on.
My main project is a band called Allegiant. We have a new album written, so it's just a matter of getting that recorded and then going through that whole cycle. Kind of waiting until the touring thing comes back. We do have a tour scheduled, actually, for November of 2021 in Europe, the Faces of Death tour. I'm also part of a black metal project called Harbored, which has some new music coming out as well. It's another Colorado-based band here in the state. And a band is called Peasant Hands, which is like a kind of like a grindy metal experimental thing. We got some stuff coming over there. So just a lot of projects.
That's a lot of bass tracks, dude.
A lot of bass lines. I'm just excited to get back to it. A lot of times we're, as artists, forced to write and record on the road under super big time constraints. Now that we have a little bit more time, I've been able to get caught up on some of these projects and, see where they go and see where they grow. And honestly, I mean, for me, it's just the thrill of putting stuff out there. I mean, it's great if you're in a successful band and all that good stuff. But I mean, the reality is it's cool to just put something and have it exist in the world because, it'll be in the world long after we're gone. So just trying to put stuff out there and trying to make stuff happen and make new friends like I am today. So
give us a hopeful message for all the creators and the people out there that are going through this right now.
First step, just quit your band and then never do this ever again. No, I'm just the best thing to do is to understand that, yes, this year was difficult, but as we talked about extensively, time will pass and we will get back to some sense of normalcy in our industry. So just keep your head up and be excited and be open-minded. Be open-minded to things like streaming and podcasting and doing interviews and, just don't box yourself in saying, well, there's no shows, so I guess I better just put my guitar away for a while. Just be excited, try different things, try new things. And, maybe, who knows, you might find some hidden talents that you can apply to your musical career once that kind of comes up. But aside from music in general, just be grateful. Be grateful for your friends and your family and the people that you have, and understand that unfortunately time doesn't last forever. So maybe this 2020 has been a life lesson in, being resourceful and being grateful for the people around you, because that's all we got.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I have the honor to introduce you the wisest, most experienced, intelligent man that I know, and this is a very important thing moving forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, my friend, Dr. John Manholt. How are you, John?
I'm fine, and I'm just amazed at what a beautiful introduction that was. I appreciate it.
This is why I really wanted you to be on this issue. There's going to be some of the best musicians and presidents in the world for the music industry. And at the end, no matter what you do, I think you need to have your values and your mind in check moving forward in any time. What valuable lesson did you learn, from 2020?
The artificial intelligence, which is necessary, but it is beyond control. Today, the old worries that they had about robots taking over, it's coming close. Coming back to the old real Depression days, back way when. I mean, you had PhDs who were not working. In fact, they joined the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, digging trenches, anything, just to have a job. Because in those days, people wanted to work. They were embarrassed not to work. There's no relationship, a close relationship with anyone anymore. You can't depend upon them. But my father, as I say, back in those days, a handshake was all it needed. You didn't need all sorts of contracts. My father had 3 friends who were not able to pay their mortgages. He bought their houses for $1, paid their mortgages for them, and when it was all over with, they got back on their feet. He gave them the houses back for $1. Didn't charge anything. That was what people did. Everybody did this sort of thing. Try to get somebody to do that these days.
What can we give these people out there, for the ones that are stuck at home, as a personal kind of boost from you?
I feel that people must relearn how to get along with people. People need to get together to re-examine themselves. We had a very rigid moral code, and it was wrong, because that was all black and white. There is no black and white. We all know that. It's great. We who use common sense realize that there's no black and white, and therefore we moved away from that. However, we were imbued with a basic moral code, which I think is missing today, and people must regain this moral code. Look for it. If you learn to like each other, that is the first big step that has to be made for anybody, for anything in this day of life, and that might straighten things out. I also remember, as I am maturing, what I think are probably the most famous words ever uttered. There was a black entertainer in New York years ago. His name was U.B. Smith, I think it was. And U.B. said he was getting quite old. And he said, if I knew I was going to live to be so long, so old, I would have taken better care of myself. I feel the same way.
What do we have planned for Dr. Manholt for 2021? So tell us a little bit what you're going to be doing. What are some of your plans? You're going to be tripping out with Kit. You're going to be writing your memoirs.
I'm writing a book about it. I'm so involved with what is going on. I've already got, I think, 3 chapters written. I was telling an intern, he was grousing about how things were. And I said, what is most important? He said, well, you were of a generation and a time when it was easier for you to do a lot of different things, and you could meet a lot of different and even important people. He said, we don't have that opportunity anymore. I started thinking about it. Yes, it was easier. I mean, for example, we owned a little villa in Spain at the Costa del Sol for quite a few years. Mijas had a golf course, which we went over and played quite frequently. And one of the people we played golf with quite frequently was Sean Connery, the 007 in Las Vegas, the Desert Sands, the Desert Inn. I was out there as a single one day to play some golf. I ended up playing with Dean Martin. Another time, the guy walks in, and I join you. I said, sure, it's Tony Bennett. There's so many of these things. It's very, very simple to meet people in those days. I was introduced to Albert Einstein. He was the electronic genius of those days. Now, how often do you get a chance to meet people like this?
Are you telling me that you got to meet Albert Einstein in like real life?
Yes.
Come on, bro.
I could go on and on and on. So I will quit right now. That's enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the smartest man I know, the man that's been here the longest, and he has seen so much, and the proof is in the pudding, as they like to say. You know what I mean? I mean, you know when they say, listen to the wise man talk? Wow. I got to tell you, I'm so honored that I know you and your beautiful wife. Man, I don't know, man. At 100 and almost 2 years old, I got to say, you are kicking like 20-year-olds to the curb. You know what I mean? Your energy, your attitude, the way you talk and think, man, such an inspiration. I feel like I just had a vitamin boost.
You are very, very nice. I love you.
Love you too, brother.